Good morning and welcome to Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. Midwest Sports Channel, in cooperation with Wisconsin Public Television, proudly presents the WIAA State Football Championships. Good morning, everybody. I'm Andy Kendi, along with Ken Beagle, the high school football coach at Wisconsin Rapids. This morning, we'll start out with a Division II matchup, Menomonie against Brookfield Central. Central comes in with a record of 12-1, and Menomonie comes in with a record of 11-2.
First of all, two outstanding coaching jobs. Rick Seinhold, first time here. He's excited. He's enjoying the process. Joe Labuda, 5 times here. The key to the game is going to be a situation where you've got 10 players going both ways for Brookfield, and depth of program with Menomonie with a lot of experience. It's going to be an exciting matchup. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's talk about Brookfield Central first. Their ground game is centered around center running back Adam Siborowski.
Well, he's their gladiator. Coach Seinhold was talking about him being a leader, extremely hardworking in the off-season, prepared himself. He's a hard runner. He just does like a blue-collar worker. He does good speed, but not flashy speed. He's just going to break tackles and make things go.
Menomonie, known for their stingy defense. Their defense is led by defensive end senior Richie Andrashko.
Andrashko is one of their leaders. He was hurt in their 5th game, but the first 4 games he had 12 sacks, and they cruised through those first 4 games. They struggled a little bit their next 5. He comes back in the playoffs, and here they are in Madison.
Menomonie has won state championships in 1993, 95, and 97. Will 99 be their lucky year? Brookfield Central has something to say about that. The kickoff in Division II coming up next.
Check it out.
Quiet, please.
You've been calling for it, and now we've got it. Introducing Hardee's new pork chop sandwich, a whole boneless pork chop lightly breaded so it's tender and juicy. Come and get it at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
The Sports Connection. Sports news and views about
the Vikings
and
the Green Bay Packers
and
the Gopher football team
and
the Badger football team.
The Sports Connection is your connection to all the latest in regional sports news.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Connection. I'm Pat Fisher.
And I'm Mike Max. Plenty of basketball in this edition of the Sports Connection.
Gopher news, Badger news, it's all here. MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. The Division II Football State Championship is just about ready to get underway. I'm Andy Kendi along with Ken Beagle. Brookfield Central in blue, Menomonie in white, and the Division II State Championship game is underway. Menomonie received it at the 4-yard line. That's number 4, Phil Newman, across the 20 to the 25, across the 30, still on his feet, up to the 35-yard line. Nice return there by Newman.
Broke a few tackles, and that's an indication of some of the intensity at the beginning of this game. By the way, it's a great day out here, isn't it? Great day to be alive, great day to be involved in this.
And rarely do we get a day like this in November, let alone, you know, at the state finals time. And I believe deer hunting season starts tomorrow, and can you believe this?
We'll talk about that later, but yes, this is a great day to have a finals. Probably one of the best we've ever had.
2 straight days of beautiful weather. Brent Mork is the captain. He's the quarterback leading the offense for Menomonie. First play of the game, right straight up the gut Number 24, Mark Slinden. On offense for the Indians, it's Dave Cruz. He's their stud running back, along with Slinden, Turner, Weiss, and Weezy. Also for Menomonie up front, it's Upedal, Simpson, Faber, Green, and Corey Wayne. Second down and 5 from the 40. Pitch, number 5, that's Dave Cruz with some running room. He's across the 40, down to the 32-yard line. Dave Cruz showing why he's racked up those big numbers this year.
Little strategy on this. You see that there was an overshift. We didn't get Brookfield Central shifting correctly. Nice cut and read by Cruz. Boy, he reads his blocks very well. And that's a big gainer and sets him up in great field position.
They mark it at the 30. As you take a look at Cruz's numbers, over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns. And the Indians driving immediately.
A lot of shifting, and they're going to change sets. It's designed to get a numbers advantage for Menomonie.
Look at Cruz go. Close to another first down.
And I would say every time right now, Andy, that the first 3 plays that Brookfield hasn't really adjusted to a lot of the things that Menomonie's showing.
So Dave Cruz, back-to-back big runs.
Just before that, they shifted. They've got a lot of people, and it's a numbers thing out there. They've got more people to block. Here we go again.
3 receivers to the left. They'll again give it to Cruz. This time he's stacked up by 75. That's Shane Davis.
That was a great play because he had a good pursuit angle, and the corners came up rather.
On defense for Brookfield Central. Here's the way they look up front. The Lancers, Gothing, Clark, Baychek, Davis, and Bilo. Also, it's Alisi, Kariba, Pincinel, Bertuzzi, Siborowski, and Strelo. And that's a mouthful. Second and 13 from the 23. Cruz, the pitch inside. Only he's going to gain a couple.
Menomonie's running a little bit of that zone stretch stuff where they're blocking everybody up front, and Cruz is just making his read on his blocks, much like you see at Wisconsin, but from different sets. That time was a balanced set, trying to get everybody to not be in gaps, but be balanced up in the defensive side.
Brings up a long distance situation. First one of the day for Menomonie. 3rd and 11 from 21. Big shift, 3 receivers right. And a draw play. Cruz has some daylight. Cruz near the goal line, down to the 1.
You saw him overshift now. You know, Brookfield's making the adjustments to the shift, and I was very impressed with the discipline of their shift. They came back weak side. Excellent blocking, big hole.
Cruz just tearing up Brookfield Central here on the opening drive.
They just screen blocking up front, and boy, he makes a great read.
Justin Upedal had a big pull block there, it looked like.
Yeah, they're good in the offensive line. Not very big. At least that's what coach says.
And bang, bang, Menomonie has just scored.
This is kind of indicative of the way they started their pregame. It was very intense and had a lot of emotion involved, and it pulled the trigger for a big drive right to get the game started.
Josh Molnar gets credit for the touchdown, and the Indians strike first. Danny Wengel in to attempt the extra point.
Well, it looks like we've got a situation where Central kind of got a little bit on their heels, and they've got to get regrouped now. It was kind of a stunning drive for Menomonie to come down there like they did, and I think that it's going to be a situation where they have to emotionally get back in the ball game now and settle in and start to play their game.
Chris Ryder is the long snapper. Mike Sins, the holder. And the kick is good. Wengel puts it through, and Menomonie leads 7-0. We'll return with more WIA football live on Midwest Sports Channel after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
I'll be working till the sun goes down, then spend the time another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
Farming is hard work, long hours, and a bit unpredictable. But today, producers are putting together a cooperative system that's helping them reduce risk and get more from everything they produce, making it a little easier for them to greet each new day with confidence. Senex Harvest states, we grow value.
Menomonie needs just 2 minutes and 42 seconds to score, and the Indians lead Brookfield Central 7-0. Now it's Central's turn to see what they can do on offense.
Well, that was a very disciplined, scripted drive by Menomonie. And now Central has their opportunity to see what type of game plan they've been working on all week and how they can execute it.
John Dobble on the return, and the Lancers will take over at the 31. You talked about something before in the break where Menomonie had real intense warm-ups, and that seemed to carry over there on that opening drive.
Their adrenaline was pumping from coaching staff down to manager. It was hard to even talk to anybody over there. I think that kind of was indicative of some of the intensity that they came out with the first drive. Things will settle down, though. I think Brookfield, they've got great character there and coaching, and their kids are going to get back into the ball game now and start to get the flow of things.
Matt Pariba gets the first carry of the game for the Lancers and has a nice gain on first down.
Pariba is a good working back. He has had a lot of carries this year at fullback, and they like to run their fullback, a nice little inside trap game, a little belly game. He's not their mainstay, but he gets good solid yards inside all season long.
As they figure out what's going on the field, the scoring drive looks like this. 7 plays, 65 yards, 2:42 off the clock, a 1-yard run by Mark Linden.
I mentioned before that was a scripted drive, and that's usually what you work on. You saw very disciplined sets. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They were in and out of the huddle. There wasn't much thinking about what was going on, and the script worked very well in this case.
So Slinden's touchdown has Menomonie out in front. Lancers gained 5 yards on their opening play, and this is their big back, Adam Siborowski.
And he did just what he did all year long. He broke tackles.
Brookfield Central's offense led by Matt Matarese. He's a senior quarterback, 6 feet tall, 177 pounds. Siborowski and Pariba are the running backs, along with Bertucci. Also, Greg Alisi is on that unit as well. Clark, Velo, Sturr, Davis, and Beyer make up the front 5 for the Lancers.
That's a big offensive line. Very strong kids. We'll talk a little bit about their weight program and the strength that those kids have.
They average 6'3", 230 up front. This is Pariba. Close to the marker.
Getting a first down here is real critical so they can get more plays and start to get a flow. That was great for them to be able to pick up and get another 3 or 4 plays in here to start to say that, hey, we can block here, we can dominate the offensive line just like they did, and it gives your kids confidence.
Joe Labuda, the Menomonie head coach, was a little worried about the Brookfield Central size up front.
Well, they're a very talented football team. They don't have a lot of depth, but they've got the kids on the field. They all can play.
Number 8, Greg Alisi. Another nice gain on first down for Menomonie. Here's the way their defense stacks up. Talked about Richie Andrasco in the open. Alongside him is Husby Ford and Jesse Olson. Also on defense, Sminsky, Cody, Molnar Cruz, Shiel Newman, and Derek Evenson. Defense gives up, just about 15 points a game. This is Siborowski looking for running room. He's at midfield where he's brought down by a host of Indians.
You can tell he's a strong kid. He just, not one player really can take that kid down. Actually, their offensive line is getting some movement up front. It's going to be a good football game.
Siborowski gained almost 2,000 yards to this point, 26 touchdowns on the season, and what a year for the senior. 3rd and 2 now from midfield.
Well, that negates, that penalty is going to negate Brookfield's, see, their first down, they got 6 or 7 yards. That was really big for them. Now they're pushed back in there to a 3rd and probably 7 or so, and that's a killer when you're making mistakes.
Brookfield Central is an experienced team. They returned 8 starters on each side of the ball, and their offense has 10 seniors and 1 junior. The lone junior in the starting lineup is tight end Marcel Gothing, number 87. Now it's 3rd and 7. Handoff by Siborowski, and he is brought down. Good play there by number 58 for Menomonie.
Great penetration. He just, that's a counter play, and he came off the center's block and just bubbled it, what we call bubbled it back, causing pursuit to come up. That was a real costly 5-yard penalty. Put them in a situation where they couldn't just run straight ahead and get their, stay in their game plan.
Willie Kurtz on the defensive play for the Indians. Adam Wozniak with the boot. A nice, high, booming punt. Menomonie will let it drop. And that's where they'll take over, about the 25-yard line. We'll pause for this message from your local cable system. You're watching WIAA football on Midwest Sports Channel.
So you're thinking about waiting till winter to buy a new Arctic Cat snowmobile. Wake up! Now you can get the best deals of the year and guarantee the sled you want. So see your dealer now, or what will you be doing all winter?
Find Arctic Cat at AirTech Sports in Menomonie, where all we sell is fun.
As an entertainer, I'm a perfectionist. That goes double when I entertain for the holidays.
Introducing Arby's Winter Tulip Tumblers.
Everything has to be just right, down to the last detail.
With a 22-karat gold rim and a lovely winter scene.
For elegance, I spare no expense.
And they're just 99 cents each.
Okay, but that can be our little secret.
Entertain in style with Arby's new Winter Tulip Tumblers. Just 99 cents each with each soft drink purchase.
Menomonie's defense holds Brookfield Central, and they get the ball back. Look for Dave Cruz. He already has 59 yards on 5 carries. He's their big tailback, and he gets the ball right here. This time, though, Lancers stop him.
Nice adjustment, and that Greg Alisi is a good linebacker. He doesn't make the tackle here, but he ends up really making a lot of tackles during the year. One of the things about the beginning of the game with all the shifting, what couldn't happen here was Brookfield with 10 players on the field, both sides. It's tough to get your kids off the field and make some adjustments.
With Marcel Gothing with the tackle. 2nd down and 7 for the Indians as more shifting occurs. Again, it's Cruz. Cruz met first by number 75, Shane Davis.
Shane Davis has had 3 sacks during the year, and he's had 12 tackles, or 10 or 12 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. So that's pretty characteristic. He's a very strong young man and one of their best players.
Brings up a 3rd and 6 from the 29. If Menomonie throws, they normally throw to Craig Turner, number 12. He has 26 catches and 346 yards on the year. Strange looking start to that play, but Mork trying to get the corner. He does not. Knocked out of bounds.
It looked to me like the center snapped it before the Brookfield count was supposed to go, and that's why you had Menomonie did that, and it just they were just out of sync.
So no penalty because the ball was snapped.
The ball was snapped, but nobody went, except for a few kids.
Nate Johnson comes in to punt for Menomonie. Gets it away. Frank. Actually, that's number 42, Kelly Seafelt, who was dropped. A 37-yard punt. And Seafelt doesn't get much more than that.
Phil Newman made a nice open field tackle for Menomonie. That was a real important stand for a standpoint of momentum for Central. It sent a statement. We do have a defense. You're not going to get away with what you did the first round. And now we come out with round 2, and we'll see what happens with their offense. They moved it pretty well the first time they had the ball. A couple first downs.
Matarese is the quarterback. And again, a whistle. So we looked at Brookfield Central. Their head coach is Rick Seinhold. And the kids were just absolutely ecstatic to get on the turf this morning here at Camp Randall. They were jumping around, throwing the football around. They were like kids in the candy store.
Well, Rick's, you know, when I talked to him during the week, he's just really enjoying the process. He's got his children flew in to see the game. One of them from California. This is his best year coaching that he's had. He's been there 11 years. And he's got things in pretty good perspective as far as letting the kids enjoy what the process is down here.
Encroachment on Menomonie, so it's 1st and 5, and Siborowski has some running room before being brought down by number 4, Phil Newman.
You know, that looked like a simple little run, but he broke 2 tackles. Kids had arms on him at the line of scrimmage, and at about 4 yards, he ends up making a play here that is very easily could have been stopped at the line of scrimmage. Right there.
So Central now in Menomonie territory at the 46. Siborowski needed just 55 yards to get to the 2,000-yard mark for the season. This time it's Pariba.
And a nice tackle by number 66, Seth. Is that Smisky?
Yep, Seth Smisky.
Nice job. He's our leading tackler, and he's our leader on defense. Depend a lot on his leadership as a senior. And the coach says he's been a real inspiration as far as lifting weights in the offseason.
2nd and 9 for the Lancers at the 45-yard line. The inside give is to Siborowski, who leaps forward past the 40-yard line.
You know, I'm really kind of surprised that you're seeing here some pretty good offensive execution by Brookfield. Menomonie's changing their defense. They shift. They're not in the same look each time. It's very confusing usually for high school kids. So far, we're seeing Brookfield stay pretty basic, and their kids up front are picking up blocks.
Big 3rd down here, 3rd and 3. The give is to Pariba, who lunges forward, and he will be close to the marker.
Boy, he had good body lean on that, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Broke a tackle again.
Yeah, we always talk about Siborowski, but Pariba has gained over 1,000 yards himself this season.
You know, that's a big offensive line up there. That Bobby Clark, he's 247, and that Shane Davis, he's 215, 6'2". Good athletic ability.
1st and 10, enough for the 1st down, so they're at the 36. Handoff to Siborowski on 1st down.
Big old 79 Bobby Clark. He's on a pull here and comes on down the line on a little trap.
Brookfield Central 12-1 on the season. Their only loss to Milwaukee Marquette, who actually won the WISA title, and this is how the Lancers got here. They beat Milwaukee Custer, Cedarburg. They blanked Port Washington before beating Wilmot, earning their first trip to Camp Randall.
They had some very tough games with Cedarburg and Port Washington and Wilmot. Those were all battles. Very good football program.
2nd and 7. Matarese gets hit and hit hard.
And by guess who?
Richie Andrasco.
That's our sack man.
We talked about him in the open, and this is why he's so effective. You'll see right here. Calling it an incomplete pass, but nice pressure by the senior.
Well, the ball kind of floated in the air. It was lucky it wasn't picked off right here. Somebody It just fell to an open area, but it was close to maybe being picked off.
And he beat a double team to get there. 3rd and 7 from the 33.
Nebraska's brother was an all-state player a few years ago on a state championship team.
Matarese to Gothing, and Gothing can't hold on. Bring up a 4th and 7 situation, and at the 33-yard line, a little too far to start coming in with a field goal unit. Adam Wozniak is their field goal kicker, and he has booted a 49-yarder, but this might be a little too far for Wozniak.
The only kid that's going 2 ways for Menomonie is Cruz, and he's one of their leading tacklers also. He's on the field an awful lot.
So they'll angle punt it. Hopefully get a bounce. That they do. And this turf, you know, unlike the grass field, this turf gives the ball a little extra giddy up.
Yeah, you really can't let it drop because it could really roll 25 yards if there's a proper wind.
Wozniak, a 27-yard punt for the junior, and Menomonie will take over at their own 7-yard line. Now Menomonie is 11-2. They have not lost 2 games in the regular season in the 90s, but they did that this year. In fact, they lost their last game of the regular season. They lost to Rice Lake 42-7. Not the way you want to prime up to get up into the postseason, is it?
Rice Lake's an excellent football team. They came back 2 weeks later and beat Rice Lake when they got Andrasko back, and they had a number of players that were hurt during the season. I think there were 5 starters out during the year at different times, which was, you know, took away a lot of their rhythm.
Mork on play action has his man, number 9. That is Josh Molnar.
And did he have time to throw?
I'm telling you, nice play action by Mork to Molnar.
Excellent faking, good discipline there. They picked up their blocks, gave him time to put the ball up. And boy, he was really open. Nice hands catch, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Highest point, caught the ball. Very good fundamentals.
30-yard gain on the pass play. 1st and 10, and they're out of dangerous territory. That's Dave Cruz with a nice gain.
The thing we have to remember here, when you're going both ways at the end of the game, your kids will have gone probably 100, maybe to almost up to 120 plays they've been on the field. When you're going 2 platoon football, your kids have played 50 to 60 plays. And that's got to make a difference in the 2nd quarter and the 4th quarter.
8-yard gain on 1st down. Cruz will take another crack at it. Oh, and he's wrapped up, brought down by Matt Pariba. Now Menomonie, 7-2 in the Big Rivers. We talked about that Rice Lake loss in the regular season, 42-7. And you see they beat Lakeland and then Toma, and then they had to come back and beat Rice Lake 34-18 before knocking off Ashwaubenon in a thriller last week to get to Camp Randall.
And in 3 out of those 4 games that they played, they were behind in the 2nd half and came back to win the ball game.
3rd and 1. Menomonie has a 1st down thanks to a 1st down run by Dave Cruz.
I know people are saying that Menomonie was down this year, but it's really incredible when you have a 2-loss season, they say you're down.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of coaches around the state would love to be down with 2 losses.
Yeah, it's a tribute to their total program and the type of emphasis they put on their football program there.
1st and 10 at the 49. Cruz across midfield with some running room. Brought down near the 41-yard line.
He had a great block by Phil Simpson. They did a little cross in there. 88 came down, 75. Simpson came out and trapped, and good execution.
88 is Willie Weezy. 75 is Paul Simpson. He's a senior left guard. And again, the Indians are driving. If you take a look at Cruz's numbers, we're not even done with the 1st quarter yet.
Carried 39 times against Ashwaubenon.
That pitch, Cruz falls on it. Smart play there by Cruz.
That'll hurt his numbers.
That's going to do it for the 1st quarter as time ticks away. No, it won't. Yes, it will. Looked like the official wanted to call the play dead, but the clock continued to run. 7-0 the score. The end of the 1st quarter. We will return with more football live on Midwest Sports Channel after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
Brian came to school and he wanted to come to school. Brian just needed a friend, so we paired him with a community leader. He would take him to rodeos, and then he would take him to plays. This man, to come and have lunch with him, meant more than anything.
It's time to get involved. This is General Colin Powell of America's Promise. Call us and point a kid in the right direction.
Get the latest on the Packers from the man who knows them best. Don't miss Inside 1265, The Ray Road Show.
Sunday mornings at 9:30 on MSC.
The clock ran out, but they put time back on the clock. Menomonie called timeout. There's actually 3 seconds left in the first quarter. Barking out the signals is more. Getting a grip on the ball, has to go deep. Looking for his guy, wide open, Molnar. He steps out of bounds at the 10-yard line or so. Nice pass play. Maybe they wanted the wind or what, but they had one thing on their mind, and that was going deep.
Well, he ran a drag pattern. They ran people off, and he came up underneath, and he was absolutely wide open. That was not a pretty pass. It was floated up there, but he adjusted under the ball, made a great hands catch again, and he's kind of an unknown for Menomonie. He hasn't caught that many balls during the year.
So Molnar's big gainer gets him down to the 10. Now that's the end of the first quarter, so it's 7-0 Menomonie.
At least what we know, because we haven't received all the stats from Menomonie, so we're not sure how many balls he's caught.
We got very few stats. Some high schools give us a lot of stats. Some high schools do not. It's completely up to the coach. And Brent Mork really having a good start to his day. 2 of 2 for 65 yards.
It's quite impressive. I'm really impressed with the execution. Now, you know, Coach Scott Nelson's on the field. He's their defensive coordinator, and he has total control of that defense. He's got a chance to go out a couple times here and with the last time out and this one here, and have an opportunity to get his kids settled down. Now, this is real critical for him. If they can keep out Menomonie or make them kick a field goal, I think that'll bring momentum back to their team. But Menomonie can knock one in here. That could be devastating and real tough to come back from.
Menomonie outgained Brookfield Central 155 to 44 in the first quarter in total yards.
But Central didn't look bad. I mean, they moved the football all right, and they got some you know, first downs.
1st and 10 at the 10. This Cruz looking for daylight inside the 5.
I tell you, Andy, they're making shifts out there and getting a mismatch. It's a numbers game. They just got more people that are blocking on that defense, and I don't know if in the scouting report, if it wasn't very clear, if they just come out this last week and made a lot of new formations, but they're really getting people outnumbered. It's almost like an unbalanced every time they run the ball.
Cruz is getting the bulk of the yardage. Let's see if he can get into the end zone. 2nd and 3. The give again is to the fullback up front. He is down to the 1. That's what they did for the first touchdown, giving it to Mark Slinden.
That was an amazing push. You know, they just wedged that right straight back. That was probably 3 yards of movement from the offensive line.
Big blocking up front by Menomonie. The front line of Wayne, Green, Faber, Simpson, and Upaddle really doing the job up front.
And they say they've got some little kids up there, but they look bigger than what they're marked.
Cruz stacked up. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Menomonie scores again. Cruz in the end zone.
That was a good push by Central's defensive line. They didn't give ground there. They came out hard, and it was tough to sneak in there. They only needed a foot or so to go. Getting a lot of push on that offensive line right now for Menomonie, moving people.
13-0 now, as Menomonie taking command of this Division II championship game.
2 of Menomonie's kids, Upaddle's only, he says, is 151, and Simpson's 153. They certainly look a lot bigger than that.
Danny Wengel misses the extra point. So we'll stay at 13-0. Menomonie leads at 10:43 left in the first half. We'll pause for this message from your local cable system. You're watching WIA football on MSC.
At home, I'm a mom. At work, I'm part of the technology group at International Paper. One of our customers is a bike company who came to us because their bikes were getting banged up in shipping. So we invented a new type of box that helps keep their bikes protected. The bike I ordered for Kristen arrived without a scratch. Perfect and clean.
Thanks, Mom. Cuddles!
How can we help with your shipping needs? International Paper. From innovation to results.
They are just people. Normal in every way but one. They expect more from a truck than 99% of the world. We call them the 1%ers. With their demanding standards in mind, we introduced the completely redesigned GMC Sierra. One percenters, the wait is over. The all-new Sierra from GMC.
Menomonie leads Brookfield Central in the Division II championship game 13-0.
Well, this is an important drive that Central's faced with right now. It'd be great for them to get momentum back and put something together, get some points on the board. I think if they stick with that running game and stop having some penalties, we have an opportunity to maybe do some great things in there.
Siborowski returns this one. As I noticed, both Siborowski and Pariva were out back deep for the Lancers.
I don't know if that was a planned short kick, but it only really went to about the 29 or so, and that's good field position for Central, 34-yard line.
So Siborowski, number 2 for Brookfield Central, leads the Lancers in rushing today, 6 carries, 26 yards, but his team coming up empty on the scoreboard. Big drive here, trailing 13-0, 10:38 left in the second quarter. Siborowski looking for running room, can't find any.
Siborowski with the ball, across the 35.
Scoring drive for Menomonie, capped by that Dave Cruz 1-yard plunge. It was a lengthy drive at that. 10 plays, 93 yards, over 3 minutes and 19 seconds, and Cruz gets the touchdown. That's his 19th score of the season.
That's a deflator when you get somebody back on the 7-yard line and you get a chance to maybe shorten the field for a score and they go 97 yards or 87 yards or 93 yards.
Mark Husby takes down Siborowski. Nice play there by the senior tackle.
We've got a situation here where in the Metro Conference, I think they've been there with all the teams that have come out of that conference have been to the state playoffs a number of times with New Berlin and Menomonie Falls and Brookfield Central here.
3rd and 8. The handoff, running room, Siborowski, daylight.
Flag down.
Siborowski with the ball, up to about the 37-yard line.
While we're waiting for this flag, I was just going to say that
it's a hold on Brookfield Central.
That's a devastating penalty. A nice gain like that, they're called back. It's hard to see. I don't know if it was in the offensive line or not. The flag came a little bit later.
These officials from the Oshkosh area, Bernie Baraboo is the referee, Eugene Hetzel is the umpire, Mark Larson, the line judge, or the lineman, Bill DeGroot is the line judge, and Dan Bissett is the back judge from Oshkosh.
Bernie Baraboo is a Big Ten basketball official for women. And these crews that come down here are the best in the state. They're evaluated rather stringently by the WIAN or coaches, and this is a highlight for them to be here.
3rd and 17. Central back to pass, screen out to Siborowski, and he has all sorts of room. He has the first down. He's across midfield, still on his feet. Nice effort by Adam Siborowski.
He made that play. That was a nice pass, almost a lateral, but he got one block out there in the flat and then broke 3 or 4 tackles. Now you'll notice it's a throwback screen. That's almost a lateral.
Might have been a lateral.
But that was one tackle he broke. Let's see how many he gets here. Another touch, and one more.
1st and 10 at the 43. Again, a whistle. You're talking about the Brookfield Central League that they play in.
Well, I was saying that they have had some good representation here. Now, and of course, you have Marquette. I don't know how many championships they've won, but those are teams that they played, good competition, and that's a good league. In the Big Rivers, they've had Superior here twice. These are teams that Menomonie played. Rice Lake was here 3 times, and of course Menomonie 5, so they've been represented 10 times in the last 24 years in the Big Rivers in the finals.
So another penalty on the Lancers, pushes them back. Again, a 1st and 15 from the 48-yard line. It's Frank Zatucci, split wide left. Instead, they run the ball.
Inside trap. Sometimes that's a good call. You know, you get those linebackers back a little bit, expecting a pass, and your lineman can get to them. In that case, really, Menomonie reacted very well. Came off some blocks and were able to plug the hole for a short gain.
Rick Seinold, in his 11th season at Brookfield Central, he credits much of his program's success to the Junior Lancers. It's a feeder program that involves all the kids in Brookfield. As you look at Menomonie with a big sack, number 21, Brett Cody.
Yeah, that was a big sack, because now it's going to force them to either come back with another pass, or you know, they're going to end up having to punt the football if they don't make a big play here.
Cody, a junior.
You were talking about the Lancers. We'll watch this play here. He came off the block off the inside. You were talking about the Lancers youth program. They have to overcome a lot there in that town. You know, they've been soccer champs, and there's a lot of kids that get involved in that program. So that's a real tribute to Rick, getting those kids out for football, and runs a draw play.
Here's Gaborowski. He fumbles the ball. And it looks like Menomonie has it. Yes, they do.
You can't really, you know, that was just a matter of the kid is just trying and playing his heart out, trying to get extra yards for his team. And that was just such a great effort. He got swarmed. A lot of people from Menomonie are on the ball here. And they have to bring him down. They're going to have a lot of people make some hits.
It's like Molnar popped it free. And there's about 3 Indians around that football to recover it.
He's a great runner.
A big play here. Number 9, Molnar, will force the fumble.
You got to keep those points of contact right in there, but Molnar made a good hit here. Boy, he's had a good game, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Forced a fumble, made 2 great catches in offense.
And Menomonie keep plugging away. Mark Slinden, the fullback, with a big gainer.
You know, I hate to say this, Andy, but you're seeing second quarter right now, and they're laying a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on that offensive line, and the defenses have been on the field an awful long time now. That last drive, too, you saw Menomonie's offensive line. I think that we were seeing a little bit of fatigue, or kids getting tired from Brookfield.
Slinden's just a sophomore, 5'10", 232 pounds. Again, Slinden across the 35. What does a program like Menomonie, how does that affect its community when year in and year out you're in the state playoffs, you've been here, you've won 3 titles in the 90s. I'm sure most of these kids were in attendance at the title runs in 93, 95, and 97. What does that do?
Well, it sets an attitude very young. The kids say, Coach, I believe in your system, and I believe in what you're doing, and I want to be part of it. What do I have to do? So all the things you ask me to do with camps and going to the weight room and so forth, they're willing to pay the price to have this opportunity to play here.
Cruz is dropped by Casey Pincinel.
I must say that both programs have multi-sport athletes. Kids are out for other sports. Joe Labuda's the head baseball coach now, and his line coach, I'll get you his name, but his offensive line coach is the head basketball coach at Menomonie.
Menomonie is going to talk things over, it looks like. Want another timeout. That's the second one they've thrown this half. The Indians lead 13-0. We'll have more football after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
Yeah!
You've been calling for it, and now we've got it. Introducing Hardee's new pork chop sandwich, a whole boneless pork chop lightly breaded so it's tender and juicy. Come and get it at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
Packer fans, it's time to talk football. Not just football, Packer football. With Inside 1265, the Ray Road Show. Hear about the team you love from the person who knows them best. The latest on players, other teams, plus much more. And go ahead, ask the coach your very own questions. It's the lowdown on the fact from someone who can tell it like it is. Inside 1265, the Ray Road Show.
Sunday mornings at 9:30 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Menomonie leads Brookfield Central 13-0, and they face a 3rd and 5 situation. They wanted to talk things over.
Well, this is, if you're a chess player, this is a good opportunity. You know, each coach has a chance to plan his next move.
Linden, the lone back in the backfield for Menomonie. Mork back to pass. Has his man complete. On the reception is number 23, Brent Obser.
You got to say that Mork is very effective. He's not the prettiest passer you've ever seen, but he's getting the ball there. He's making plays, and that's what this is all about. Is you can look good throwing the football, but you got to be able to put the ball right on the money, and he's been doing that today.
He has 3 passes thrown, 3 completions. Nice percentage. This is Dave Cruz. Jake Bocek on the tackle. He's the nose guard for Brookfield Central. You said that 10 guys go both ways. Bocek is the one guy on defense that checks out when the offense hits the field.
And the quarterback's the other one, the 2C.
Second and 6 from the 17. Cruz, pitch right. He can stay on his feet. He's near the first down marker.
Well, you know, both teams are tackling hard and making a great effort to get to the football, but that Cruz broke a tackle here that was noteworthy. Great runners. They keep their balance. Fundamentally, they're very sound. They like to square up and make people really have to make a great tackle. You can't arm tackle these kids.
Cruz is 5'10", 152. And yet he's already over 100 yards in the state championship game. He runs hard, and he's only a junior.
He runs like he's 190.
Looks like the wind's blowing a little bit. Ball getting blown off its mark.
Kind of like to see, just from the standpoint of making this game here, I'd like to see Central really come on strong and to get a goal line stand here. It would be hard to go down 3 touchdowns at half.
Cruz following his blocks. Inside the 5.
Boy, a lot of blue shirts around him, ready to make a tackle there, and they just couldn't get at him.
Frank Bertucci finally wrapped him up. And the march continues for Menomonie.
Menomonie's been pretty good as far as penalties are concerned, haven't they? They haven't had really too many errors.
Brookfield Central wants to talk things over. They take a timeout. 4:15 left in the first half. Menomonie leads 13-0. You're watching WIAA football on Midwest Sports Channel.
To me and the R&D team at International Paper, looks are just as important as content. So when an ice cream carton maker came to us for help, we created a container that's strong enough to make it from the dairy to your home. And the printing surface makes the ice cream look as good as it tastes.
Now remember, Daddy, save room for dinner.
How can we help your product look better? International Paper. From innovation to results.
Farming is hard work, long hours, and a bit unpredictable. But today, producers are putting together a cooperative system that's helping them reduce risk and get more from everything they produce, making it a little easier for them to greet each new day with confidence. Cenex Harvest states, we grow value.
Second and 3 for Menomonie. Inside the 5. Cruz sees daylight, sees another touchdown. Dave Cruz is in for Menomonie.
you can just tell where they're going. They make that overshift, power eye, they're going that side. It's just kind of telegraphs now. They're getting into a rhythm, and well, the two blockers up front are just doing a great job for him.
It's almost as if he's saying, we're going this way, come on, I dare you to stop.
That's smash mouth. He's trying to bully him, really. And right now they're doing a good job of coming off the football. Good execution.
They're going to go for 2 since they missed that last extra point. A little end around. Does he have enough? No, he will be stopped short. Nice defensive play by Casey Pincinel.
Dan Wiesner looked like a truck that still had a wagon. He was pulling that wagon on, unhook the wagon, get around there. But creative play. You know, Central did not bite on it though. They were right there to make a stop.
So the score will be 19-0, and a positive for Brookfield Central right there.
Something to go in the locker room and talk about, but you know, they've got enough time here. If they can just put together a drive and get on the board, that would be huge. That momentum in high school football is so important. You can overcome a lot of size and deficiency with that adrenaline pumping, and it comes and goes during the game, Andy. It really does. You get really about 4 or 5 really important momentum swings.
Matt Matarese, the quarterback for Brookfield Central, has only thrown 70 passes all year long. But, you know, in a situation like this where you're playing catch-up, it's easy to want to get out of the game plan, which would be run, which is their game plan.
Right.
But
and
do you?
He's gone to Bertuzzi a lot. He's their main guy, and I'm sure that you know, the scouting reports are going to be on to Bertuzzi and maybe even double cover him.
This is Pariba looking for room. Out near the 30.
And we talk a lot about, you know, Shabrowski, but Pariba's a nice back. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's averaged, you know, a lot of yards during the year. I think he's averaging about 6 yards a carry, and he's a good back. So let's get him going here.
They've got the 4-minute offense. They have 4:03 left in the first half. They'll have to get that ground game going. This is Pariba, and he is tackled there by number 58 for Menomonie. That's Willie Kurtz.
Andresco's in there too. Tried to do a little inside trap, nothing going.
Willie Kurtz is not listed in the starting lineup for Menomonie, but he's made a couple tackles here in the first half. The give is to Siborowski.
Power sweep. 2 guards pull. Read very well by Menomonie. They've got things going right now. Menomonie's just got the momentum just really cooking for him.
Jared Schriel is there for the tackle. Schriel is a senior, 5'10", 147, number 10.
Now, I agree with what they're doing with Central right now. His game plan is to get the ball to your best back, and he's not getting out of that right now and throwing cautionary to win. He's still trying to establish something for his kids before he goes in at half.
Maurice passing, overthrows his intended receiver, Frank Bertucci.
Well, he took a hit as he released the ball. Just as he released the ball, he got smacked.
Well, they got here because of the running game. You figured you got to dance with the gal that brought you. That's why they're running the football, and they had an obvious pass play on 3rd and long, but I would imagine they would continue to try to do that.
Well,
run the football since they've been so effective all year long.
They're getting a lot of different looks on that defensive front from Menomonie, and I would hope at the halftime. There's a good break.
Big booming punt, and it will bounce into the end zone. A 68-yard punt by Adam Wozniak. What a boot!
Close to the record, I would imagine. Or the record, I don't know what it is. We'll have to look that up and see. But
make that a 69-yard punt, which ties the Division II record. So Adam Wozniak from Brookfield Central is in the books.
That ball bounced about 20 yards. And if it just would have held up, they'd had a chance to get some great field position.
Menomonie takes over 1st and 10 at their own 20, leading 19-0. 3 wide receivers left. And this would be a lateral.
Double pass. and he picked the wrong receiver. There were 3 kids in the pattern, but that's a lateral, which enables you to, it enables the receiver out there to throw the ball again, and he had his, he actually had his slot back going up the sideline about 10 yards behind the secondary.
Nate Johnson, number 19, the guy who threw the pass, is actually a backup quarterback. He's also punts for Menomonie and does some kicking for him as well.
And I think they had some fake punts in mind if they needed to use them. I don't think they're going to have to
Cruz
worry
is
about
stopped
that.
by Shane Davis. Davis having a nice first half.
Well, this is pretty encouraging. No one really hit him. Got pretty loose, and he's made a couple plays like that now, coming in from inside out, we call that. Good pursuit angle. And the cornerback has to come up and make a play to turn everything in for him.
Brookfield Central takes a timeout. Going to force Menomonie's hand here a bit. 2:20 left in the first half.
Be interesting to see a punt situation by Menomonie and have Central go after him and see if they can get a block and make something happen off the kicking game, see if they can get a score or good field position off that.
Brookfield last night, they went through the walkthrough, watched a little film, and then they played charades to kind of keep things loose. How did you keep your teams loose at Rapids?
We usually have a meeting before the ball game. We have a booster club does a spaghetti dinner or something, and we do similar stuff. It's good camaraderie, and it works great for team.
Beth Mork, the quarterback, is perfect on the day throwing. Dave Cruz with some running room. Across the 40, near midfield.
Oh, that was such a huge hole. That's where you could drive the proverbial truck through the hole, and he read it very well. That's a heartbreaker for Central right there. Great opportunity to keep him in the hole, and nice call. Watch the hole that opens up here. It's huge. Good blocking, and he makes a nice read.
A 27-yard gain for Cruz. And now, Cruz nearing 150 yards for the half.
And he's only a junior.
.205 and counting. Inside, Slindon has some room. Close to the first down marker.
It's tripped up by Matt Belo.
If you're thinking about records
Senior.
already for Cruz, he needs to have a second half as well. Matt Hankey from Monroe owns the Division II record book. He carried the ball 29 times back in 1991 for 312 yards.
We had the fullback, Mark Schindler, come off. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 232. He looks like he was limping in a little bit of pain. We'll have to see if he can get back in the ball game. Labuda said that youngster is going to be a real force in years to come.
So you got Slindon, a sophomore, Cruz, a junior, and both will be back next year. This is the play. He came down awkwardly. Mork passes. Mork is intercepted. Intercepted, Brookfield Central. Number 8, Greg Alisi.
Here goes Big Mo. He goes over to Central side now. We'll see if they can get something going.
A big play from your big senior.
Nice tip, though. The ball was tipped right there. Nice grab. Good concentration.
His second interception of the season. It was a nice tip there by 58 for Brookfield Central. That's Matt Belo. And now the Lancers in business. A minute 17 left at the 48. Ziborowski hit hard. Only gain of about 2 yards. Clock continues to run. They only have 1 timeout remaining.
They had great success with that in the playoffs at inside counter, and they do it so darn well. But against this Indian team here, you know, the Menomonie, they're just really getting penetration, and they're shutting that off.
Matarese will keep it himself, running near the sideline, trying to get out of bounds, but he's tackled before Number 9, that's Josh Molnar again.
He's had a big game, hasn't he?
He really has on both sides of the ball.
They got him listed at 5'10", 188. He's playing bigger than that. He looks like an athlete.
So Brookfield Central uses their final timeout, it looks like. No, I believe Menomonie called that one. So they must be thinking they're going to try to make a punt.
Maybe they got a little package of rush on it in mind to try and, or a good return situation where they think they can turn something over on the kicking game.
We talked about Menomonie. They beat Lakeland in the level 1 playoff game 20-14. And in that game, the Indians were missing 5 starters. And they needed an interception in the end zone with under 2 minutes left to seal that one. So
plus, they were behind 14-0 at the half. Came out and pulled it out. Those are the fun games. You look back and you say, you know, which is your most, you know, enjoyable game and the biggest game of the year, and they'll point to something like that. Because without that, they wouldn't be here and have an opportunity to play in this. There are a lot of fine teams out there, Andy, that are sitting home because they weren't able to put it together during the playoffs, and that's when you got to play.
3rd and 8 for the Lancers. Center East back to pass, throws it up, has a man, but it's incomplete. Man, oh man.
Yeah, that was a nice read.
Gothing battling with number 3, Mike Sins, and neither one came down of it.
He had good coverage. He broke on the ball, and actually it was good that Gothing broke that up because I think it looked like an interception.
Marcel Gothing, a junior. But Brookfield Central will be forced to punt, and it looks like Menomonie's bringing the school at him. They haven't dropped anyone back yet.
They're looking for a fake.
Yep. Instead, they punt. Coverage downfield, let that ball bounce, see where it goes. And this artificial turf gives that ball some legs. Wozniak gets it to about the 10-yard line. It's 19-0 after a 36-yard punt by Wozniak.
Menomonie should run it out right now. Go in and get things cranked up for the second half. Central's got some work to do. They're not out of this yet. Their kids have been playing great football all year long. They've won some close ball games, and they know how to win. So they just got to suck it up and come back and really play.
24 ticks left in the first half.
You also need a few breaks happen to get you going again.
Looks like they are just going to run out the clock. Brent Mork kneels down, and
you don't want to get too greedy. You know, a situation like that can turn it around where you try and throw a pass, it gets picked, and you know the other team goes in with a lot of momentum. Right now, all they need to do is just get this first half over with, and then say, come on, we're going to go out and play the second game. The second game is the one that's going to tell the story.
Well, Menomonie won that first game, the first half. 19-0, the Indians lead Brookfield Central in the Division II championship game. Two touchdowns by Dave Cruz, and Menomonie leads. We'll have halftime festivities coming up on Midwest Sports Channel.
How we view football has changed, and your local cable provider is at the leading edge of that change, bringing you the latest technologies for communications like high-speed internet access, personal communications, and multi-channel digital cable with more choices than you ever imagined. Your local cable television provider is a proud sponsor of the Barry Alvarez Show on Wisconsin.
The coach's cliche. They range from motivational to inspirational to downright confusing. But no matter what the sport, what season, or what the outcome, these athletes show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. After all, it's the one honor that embodies the granddaddy of all locker room truisms.
At my old school, they taught sex ed. At this one, they don't even mention it. My mom read me a book. This is pure technical stuff. My dad didn't talk to me about it at all. He's too embarrassed about, you wash out your mouth, about about talking about it, about sex.
Quiet, please.
Congratulations to MSC for 10 years covering sports in the great Midwest, and the Milwaukee Bucks are very pleased to be part of Midwest Sports Channel.
NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net, the show that covers pro football sideline to sideline.
In my opinion, it has to do with the coaches.
Plus, in-depth analysis and hard-hitting interviews with the game's biggest stars.
I expect to play at a certain level, and I know I haven't done that right now.
Go inside the game with our all-pro team, plus the Fox NFL Sunday Gang. It's an action-packed hour of pre-game power. Game time! NFL This Morning, Sunday on MSC.
Menomonie leads at halftime over Brookfield Central. 19-0 is your score in the Division II state championship game. The 1999 state football finals are made possible by our statewide sponsors. We're pleased to have rural insurance companies with us again this year, representing their agents throughout Wisconsin.
Forming a winning team doesn't happen overnight. It takes hours of planning, training, hard work, and dedication. Goals are set, a strategy is developed, and a game plan is made. A game plan that takes into account what may happen down the road. Preparing for the unexpected. At Rural Insurance, we're constantly thinking about the future. Like any successful team, we too create game plans on how to protect and safeguard what's important for your future. Growing out of our roots in Wisconsin farm communities, Rural Insurance has long supported 4-H and FFA, as well as sponsor the WIAA football, basketball, and hockey championship telecasts. It's also been our privilege to be the sole sponsor of the WIAA Boys and Girls Sportsmanship Awards, honoring the teams, fans, and schools that live up to the idea that it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. What does all this have to do with insurance? It's just our way of ensuring for a better tomorrow by investing in the youth of today. It's the same concept that started Rural Insurance about 65 years ago. Founded by and for the farmers of Wisconsin, Rural Insurance was formed to protect these farmers' resources, investing in their future when other insurance companies wouldn't. Through the years, Rural has diversified to offer a full line of insurance coverage, becoming just as urban as we are rural. As a Wisconsin company, we're dedicated to serving the needs of Wisconsin families and business owners. Just as we support our local youth organizations, we also believe in supporting local economies. Through our local offices, we're able to provide more personal service to our customers and their communities. By providing local agents, underwriters, claims staff, and more, Rural Insurance is dedicated to bringing personal service home to you. Protecting for the future. That's what insurance coverage is all about. But we also understand that the real value of insurance lies in safeguarding a quality of life for the future. That's why giving back to our Wisconsin communities and supporting our youth comes so naturally. After all, they are the promise of tomorrow, so they deserve our best efforts today. It's as valuable a form of insurance as any policy we write. The Rural Insurance Companies, a Farm Bureau service.
Halftime here at Camp Randall Stadium. Menomonie leads Brookfield Central 19-0. More after this. You are watching WIAA football on Midwest Sports Channel.
You are getting sleepy. Very sleepy. Sleepy. When you need tires, you will have a better experience. You will deal with good people. When I snap my fingers, you will open your eyes.
I'll be working till the sun goes down. Then spent the time another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
The Menomonie Indians lead the Brookfield Central Lancers 19-0 at halftime here at the Division II State High School Football Championship. Midwest Sports Channel is proud to bring you these state football finals into homes all across Wisconsin. Let's now take a look at what else you can see on Midwest Sports Channel.
If you could design the perfect sports channel, how would you do it? You'd go heavy on the football, add lots of hockey, double up on the college hoops, and cover it with baseball. Lots of baseball. Or you could turn to MSC, your regional sports channel with more than 500 live events a year. You'll get 130 chances to watch the Brewers slug their way through the National League and 55 courtside seats with the Bucks. But not only that, we'll take you to college with some of the country's hottest rivalries. No cutting classes here. The Pac-10, the Big East, Conference USA, and the Big Ten combined for 90 hoops games alone. But it's still not regional sports without your regional sports. The Wisconsin Badgers and Marquette Golden Eagles can now be seen statewide. All you had to do was ask. MSC has 20 Marquette and Badger men's basketball games. Running side by side, the Lady Badgers, as they shoot their way through the Big Ten. Or if you prefer a different sort of net, Badger volleyball will spike your flat line with 10 Big Ten matchups. Now, what to do with all that ice? The WCHA has long been one of the premier hockey conferences in the nation. And MSC gives you 15 shots to watch the Badgers edge their way to the top. Want football? Of course you do. Badger football at its best. Rose Bowl or no, MSC is there. And speaking of the best, the WIAA High School Championships are a part of MSC's starting lineup. But come on, let's talk. The Barry Alvarez Show, the Dick Bennett Show, and the Jane Albright Dieterle Show give you a weekly peek inside the Badgers' war room. But we're still not done. MSC tops it all off with Fox Sports News, with Chris Myers and Keith Olbermann. Really, two guys at the top of their game, bringing the best in scores and highlights to MSC. Midwest Sports Channel, MSC, well designed to be your regional sports connection.
Halftime here at Camp Randall. Menomonie leads Brookfield Central. We'll have more after this. You are watching WIAA football on Midwest Sports Channel.
Check it out.
Welcome back to Camp Randall. Menomonie leads Brookfield Central 19-0. And these state football finals are made possible by our statewide sponsors in partnership with the Wisconsin Cable Communications Association and cable systems throughout Wisconsin, serving over 1 million cable households.
Hi, I'm I'm Christine Uneg for the Wisconsin Cable Communications Association. We are very pleased to be working with the WIAA and WHA-TV to bring you these state championship football games. The Wisconsin Cable Communications Association and the cable operators in Wisconsin are working hard to show that cable is more than a source of entertainment. Cable is expanding its horizons to better serve the needs of our customers. Cable stands for many things. First, the C proudly stands for creativity in the way cable is enriching our lives, like cable in the classroom. Since 1989, teachers have been able to choose educational programming from 32 different cable channels, 525 hours per month of commercial-free television designed specifically for the classroom. This is all free to the 70,000 schools and 38 million kids. Joining forces with cable in the classroom are the National Parent-Teacher Association and the National Cable Television Association. Through workshops, trained professionals help parents and teachers develop skills and techniques to make informed choices on how to make television a positive educational tool. Cable's commitment to education continues by offering scholarships to high school seniors and awards to outstanding educators. Many cable operators have extended their commitment by donating equipment such as computers and audio-visual equipment. Cable recognizes technology as a valuable resource for schools and looks forward to providing additional services in the future, such as internet services via a high-speed cable modem. A for advertising. Businesses are now able to reach many local customers cost-effectively by advertising on one of the many cable channels. This allows a client to target different demographics: male-oriented ESPN, woman-dominated Lifetime, or kid-watch Nickelodeon. And some systems have started classified advertising. It's one-stop shopping. B for building. Wisconsin cable operators are continuously upgrading systems, building fiber optic networks that will enable your community to receive additional channels and services. With the addition of more channels, you will have more entertainment choices. More pay-per-view services will enable you to see the movies you want to watch when you want to watch them. Fiber optic technology provides extraordinary reliability and picture quality, giving you the services you want with the quality you deserve. L for local origination. Along with public and school access, cable is a great outlet for showing local events and happenings. Cable operators frequently provide local programming for your communities, covering local events such as city council meetings, sports.
In motion, head back to throw. He's got a man across the middle, down to the 10, into the 5. He's in for the score.
General information. In the United States.
Well, then my mother is a good fan.
Remember, only you can get these on cable. E for education. Education is a primary focus for many Wisconsin cable operators, as seen in the commitment to the Cable in the Classroom effort. With fiber optic technology, cable is able to provide additional services for the education community. One such service is demonstrated by Marcus Cable's Jefferson Eastern Dane Interactive Distance Learning Network and the Marine Park Distance Learning Network. These networks, with state-of-the-art, fully interactive, two-way video, voice, and data system, allow each school district and campus to originate a class as well as receive one. Finally, and most importantly, Wisconsin operators have a commitment to providing you with the highest quality of service, accompanied by excellent customer service. The National Cable Television Association awards a seal of customer service excellence to companies who achieve their high standards over a 12-month period. This includes prompt 24 hours a day telephone service, prompt response to service interruptions, trained professionals, and the new on-time guarantee for service and installation appointments. This on-time guarantee greatly benefits you, the customer, because if a scheduled appointment is missed, you receive free installation or a $20 credit towards service. Cable in the classroom, advertising, building fiber optic networks, local programming, education and distant learning, and higher standards of service. That's what cable is currently doing. And in the 21st century, who knows? Thanks for watching, and remember, the future is on cable.
Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Menomonie leads Brookfield Central 19-0. I'm Andy Kennedy. This is Ken Beagle, the head high school football coach at Wisconsin Rapids. And Ken, talk about the first half. Menomonie scored on their opening possession and really never looked back.
Well, it was great execution on both sides of football. I thought they were game planned very well, and I almost like they knocked the socks off of the Lancers early in the ball game. Just controlled both sides of the line of scrimmage, and it was pretty lopsided statistically. It is a situation where now the Lancers have got to come back and really play great defense in the second half.
Menomonie led by Dave Cruz, 146 yards on 20 carries and 2 touchdowns.
And he had a lot of room to run. You can see what's happening up front there. His offensive line is doing an outstanding job. They're blocking the Central defense very well.
Menomonie quarterback Brent Mork threw the ball only 4 times. He completed 3 of them. And this is a nice long gainer to his wide receiver, number 9, Josh Molnar.
The big thing about their pass patterns is they've had people so wide open. Molnar has just been running around out there, and no one has been covering him. And there's something tactically involved in that, because it's a matter of how you looked at the films and what you saw to be able to exploit your opponent.
Now, you talked about Brookfield Central struggling a bit on offense, but their defense has to step it up.
I would say that's number one. You've got to have those kids have to come out and make some plays and cause some momentum to switch. You can't come out and just say, well, we're going to go to our gimmicks and start to throw the football. They got here with running. I would say that inspirationally in the locker room, they're going to have to really get their kids pumped up and say, play defense first, make things happen, and we'll see where this game's going to go.
Do you think these kids are at a sense of panic being down 19-0 at halftime of the state championship game?
Well, I think they feel like they can come back, but if they give up too many scores, then it's going to be out of hand. And on the other hand, with Menomonie, Labuta's in there talking, we have 1 half to win a state championship. You give all you can. There's no let-ups, and I'll bet that was a spirited locker room also. On the other hand, it's saying, I don't think it was relaxed. He wants those kids to come out to play the second half to win.
Central did come up with a big defensive play late in the half, and it really stopped Menomonie's momentum, and here it is. This is Mork getting picked off after a nice tip pass. The interception by number 8, Greg Alisi. So we stand 19-0. Menomonie leading Brookfield Central. Menomonie going for their 4th state championship in the 90s. So Menomonie received in the first half. They'll kick in the second half. Remember, the Indians took that opening kickoff and drove right down the field and scored on their opening possession. So let's see what the Lancers can do.
Well, the second half, you can't help but want to pull for the guy who's behind here to make this a great game, and we'd like to see Central now really mount a great drive and get things really going for them so that they can get back in this thing and play it. Hopefully they'll be close at the end.
That's Alisi who brings it up past the 30, and that's where the Lancers will take over. Brookfield Central struggled on offense, 21 rushes in the first half, just 51 yards, just over 2.5 a carry. And Siborowski, who is close to 2,000 yards on the season, just 12 rushes for 37 yards.
And that was a lot on his own. He broke a lot of tackles to get that 37.
He'll get the first rush here in the second half and not gain a whole lot. Credit the Menomonie defense once again.
Great team pursuit, and I'll tell you what, that Josh Molnar, he's been a two-way player today. He's making plays all over the field. Their linebackers are really running to the ball.
Just a gain of 1. Siborowski came into the game with 1,952 yards, so he needed 48 for 2,000. He's at 38, 10 yards away. There he goes again. A nice gainer on second down.
You can credit that to Pariba. He really made a fine lead block. It's just a power play right off what we call the B gap, and excellent blocking by the front line.
So you take a look at the Lancers' offense. The first 2 plays, they're gonna stick with that running game.
Well, that's what got them here. That's what they do best. I know they got a wide open shotgun and so forth, and I think they can mix that in. But it's not time to abandon ship with what you've got here. And here you go.
And there's Pariba with a first down near midfield.
Well, they had a chance to go in and get on the chalkboard and do a little chess game there and say, this is what we've got to do. And you can see that that's good coaching. At the halftime, they made some adjustments.
Matt Pariba, 14 yards in the first half, but a nice gain there. The Lancers have a first down. Running wide. Siborowski has some room. Near another first down. There was a lot of room to run there for Siborowski.
Yes, but Josh Molnar had a chance to bring him down, and he was able to slip right through the tackle, and what could have been a 1-yard gain, he ended up making 9 yards off it. You'll see right now, see Josh lets him get out, and nice cutback. That's nice to be 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 from the 42. An inside handoff. Greg Alisi, first down. And Central comes out smoking here in the second half.
Don't you just love to see high school football now? These kids go in the locker room and there's no way that, they're thinking 19-0, how can we win? They come out and they're executing, they're blocking better than they did the first half. That's great character, that's great coaching. If they can keep it up, they've put themselves in a position to come back in the ballgame.
Down 19-0. Opening moments of the second half in the Division II championship game. Their big gun, Siborowski, looking for his blocks, and the flag is down.
That almost looks like it's going to be a hold. You get out on the outside like that, and you're trying to do those hook blocks. Sure enough, that's what it is.
So after a fine start to this drive, Brookfield Central has dug itself a hole.
Well, that's hard for a running team to pull out of that. They need a big play now. Now would be the time for them to come up with, a big one to get them back in. I don't think you have to get the whole 20 yards in one play, but come back with a 10-yarder, and then you've got a chance to get that first down and keep things moving.
Throws, underthrows his receiver, Bertucci, but heavy pressure there by Menomonie. That's number 21, Brett Cody.
Cody did an excellent job of putting pressure on him. I mean, he just didn't have a chance to get set and throw the football. He had to throw it more in desperation than anything else.
So now it's 2nd and 19.
Phil Newman had good coverage on that also.
At the 43, Brookfield Central. They have not been shut out this year. And another flag. Brookfield Central came into the game averaging 29 points a game. 284 yards per game on the ground alone. So Menomonie doing a fine job, at least slowing down for now their running attack.
Well, Andriska jumped offside here, so they got 5 yards of that penalty back. Now we're back into about 2nd and 14, and an opportunity for him to maybe make something happen here. For a while there, I thought the wheels were going to come off for that nice drive, but got 3 plays to make it.
87 yards on the day as a team for Brookfield Central as they add to that total there, but almost 200 yards below their average. Siborowski gains a couple of yards.
Tough going for Siborowski today. He's been keyed on, and they haven't got a whole lot up the middle. A lot of their yards have been outside. That's a classic wing tee offense. They do have some variations of it, but it's the basic trap, power sweep, a lot of belly stuff. Good power football.
3rd and 12 for Brookfield Central, trying to keep this drive alive. Hattery's back to pass, pump fakes, going deep. Did he stay in bounds? No, he did not. Frank Bertucci couldn't keep himself in bounds, though he did make a catch, it looked like. A nice one at that.
Well, he wasn't wide open. I mean, they had good coverage out there. In fact, there were 2 kids around the football.
Phil Newman, number 4, was there on the coverage, along with Jared Shield.
You know, Tucci made a nice catch.
He really did.
He went up in the crowd and caught the football, but it's just 2 feet out of bounds.
4th and 12 now at the 36, and the Lancers will punt. Wozniak, the boot.
It's a good move punting here. If he gets in field position now, he's going to have to get a bounce.
It looks like they're only going to pick up about 12 yards. That's that.
That's.
Menomonie leads 19-0. We'll return with more football live on Midwest Sports Channel after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
At home, I'm a mom. At work, I'm part of the technology group at International Paper. One of our customers is a bike company who came to us because their bikes were getting banged up in shipping. So we invented a new type of box that helps keep their bikes protected. The bike I ordered for Kristen arrived without a scratch. Perfect and clean.
Thanks, Mom. Cuddles!
How can we help with your shipping needs? International Paper. From innovation to results.
Tires Plus announces a new standard in winter tire technology. Michelin Arctic Alpine. Designed with patented zigzag sipes, Arctic Alpine provides greater contact with the road, so you get exceptional traction in snow and even on ice. And if Michelin can leave its mark on ice, it'll get you almost anywhere in winter. Now available at a Tires Plus location near you.
So Menomonie stops Brookfield Central on their opening drive of the second half. They take over at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10, Cruz with some running room. He's across the 30, across the 35. A nice first carry for Dave Cruz.
Did you notice how snappy Menomonie came out? I think they got a little butt chewing when they went to the sideline. I thought their defense was a little bit flat. Partly had a lot to do with the enthusiasm and adrenaline running from Central coming out. But their offense came out, and that was a pretty impressive snappiness coming out. I think saying we're going to try and ram this down their throat and put the game away.
12 yards on that rush for Cruz. He's at 158 for the day. Here to add to his total. Across the 40. He's close to another first down. Some nice blocking up front by the Indians.
Oh, and I tell you, this is a big drive for Central. They've got to make a stop here and make a statement. If they can do that, this game it's going to come right down to the 4th quarter. But you see a little bit of speed, a little bit of quickness. I think the fatigue factor is definitely got to be playing a role here.
Up front on offense for the Indians, it's Corey Wayne at tackle, Matt Green at guard, Ryan Faber at center, Paul Simpson at the other guard, and Justin Paddle at the other tackle.
They've got some big kids, Central. This Jake Vesniak, the Coach Seinhold said that he can bench 450 pounds. That's quite a feat. And he says that Bobby Clark right next to him can do the same. I've never seen a high school player do 450-pound bench, but he's got them going there. Those are some strong boys.
And Menomonie counters with an offensive line that averages 5'11", 179 up front.
Yeah, they're coming off the ball. Yeah, they're coming off the ball so well. Low, sticking with blocks, keeping their legs moving.
Cruz gains about 3 or 4 more, and the clock continues to tick. We are under 7 minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
Offensive line averages 168, you said, for Menomonie?
179 for Menomonie.
And they picked up, they average about 360 yards a game total offense. Is that right?
Yep. Very impressive offensively. They execute in Menomonie. And just as I say that, they fumble the football, but Cruz is there to pounce on it.
You put the whammy on him.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that's the type of thing that has got to happen for Central. They've got to make some breaks here defensively to get this thing in a situation where they can win in the 4th quarter.
But the bounce is going Menomonie's way once again. They lost a fumble in the first half and pounced on it. And now it brings up a 3rd down and 10 yards to go at the 49.
Got some substitutions. Molnar's out of there. Looks like they may be going to their passing set.
Turner in motion. Heavy pressure, looks like a middle screen and almost intercepted. And a flag on the play.
It didn't fool Central at all. In fact, it looked like the fullback who was supposed to get the ball was past the line of scrimmage.
Again, it was Shane Davis with the heavy pressure.
That's the call. He was over the line of scrimmage.
Illegal receiver downfield. On that middle screen, Davis with nice penetration there.
He caused it to develop a little bit too soon. Good play by Davis.
So Brookfield Central will decline the penalty and force Menomonie into a 4th down situation.
That was a good stop by Central, and
that's what they needed. It
keeps them in the game now. They just got to get that offense cranking. You might see a little bit of offensive change here. They might mix in a little bit more passing into as this clock starts to wind down. They're going to have to conserve some clock and maybe throw the football a little more.
Frank Bertucci and Kelly Seafeld back deep for the Lancers.
A pooch punt.
Bertucci from the 20. Gets tackled at about the 28. That's where Brookfield Central will take over. 19-0 they trail. We'll return with more WIAA football live on Midwest Sports Channel after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
They are just people, normal in every way but one. They expect more from a truck than 99% of the world. We call them the 1%ers. With their demanding standards in mind, we introduced the completely redesigned GMC Sierra. One percenters, the wait is over. The all-new Sierra from GMC.
The coach's cliche. They range from motivational to inspirational to downright confusing. But no matter what the sport, what season, or what the outcome, these athletes show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. After all, it's the one honor that embodies the granddaddy of all locker room truisms.
Brookfield Central takes over at the 28-yard line, trailing 19-0 late in the 3rd quarter, and Siborowski has some running room near midfield.
Oh, that's really encouraging. Offensive coordinator Mark Pekolnik for Brookfield. He's working hard to try and get something going. I like what he's doing, not giving away the running game yet. He said that's what we've got to do is run the football, and this kid Siborowski is a fine football player.
20-yard gain for Siborowski. And the Lancers going back to the running game. Again, the senior, 1st down and more. A 15-yard gain for Siborowski.
Straight dive, quick handoff, quick hitter. Nice blocking up front, but again, he carried people. Well, this is going to be interesting if they can keep her going.
Well, this is something different they're not used to. They're playing with sneakers rather than the normal cleats that they're used to.
Well, you know, it was a game here about 6 years ago where it was...
he did run out of his shoe.
Really poor weather, and I think it was Sun Prairie. They went...
Sun Prairie, Kenosha Tremper.
Yeah, they came out in cleats instead of their tennis shoes, and it was a real factor in the ball game.
They changed it at halftime. 1995 Division I final, Sun Prairie beating Kenosha Tremper.
We don't have that problem today. This is just awesome weather for this time of the year.
Perfect football weather.
Yeah, if you're hunting, it's not so hot. Like it's unless you want to read a book out there.
Brookfield Central, you know, this is their first trip to the finals. They're 12-1 on the year, and they said that really, Coach Rick Seinold said that their turning point was early in the season in Game 3. They beat their big-time rival, their crosstown rival, Brookfield East, 42-7. And Seinold said that game really convinced their team that they could be a contender this year.
Well, they've had some big games. I thought that they played extremely well against Fort Washington and Cedarburg.
Siborowski.
Which were very fine teams. Fort Washington only lost to Homestead and to Central. Those are only 2 losses, and here they have 2 teams in the finals.
beat Port Washington 10-0. In fact, they scored their lone touchdown on a pass. So they can throw the ball if need be. But they're sticking to their running game, sticking to their game plan. It's 2nd and 9 at the 35.
And they're being patient. It looked like they jumped on that a little bit quick. But again, another nice pickup, probably a 6-yard pickup.
So they're going to move it back. And before the game, Rick Seinhold told me that, you know, what a way to make your first trip to Camp Randall. Take on the storied program of Menomonie. He said there's nothing better than going against the best if you want to be the best.
Well, I know that that's what Menomonie feels. When they scrimmage in the preseason, they look for Division I teams, the best teams in the program. In fact, they scrimmage against Everest because he feels like it's going to make the players better.
Siborowski has another gainer. Probably a gain of 5. Be 3rd and long again.
Well, that big first down play is so important. If you can get a good, 5 to 7 yards in first down, it makes things awful easy. The 3rd and 9s are tough.
3rd and 9. Matarese is 1 of 7 passing today. Had his man, but overthrew him.
Yeah, they gave him maximum protection. They were in their passing set, the double wing, which forces the defense to cover 4 quick receivers, but they only sent 2 out. Their 2 wings went out. Gave him good protection. He had an opportunity to throw the football, and he had some room there, just slightly overthrown. Actually, it looked like he could have caught the ball.
Bertucci was just there, but couldn't grab the ball. Just out of the outstretched hands of Bertucci. Again, 4th and 9 from the 35. They punted last time, only gained about 12 yards. Wozniak will get a bounce. Will bounce out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. So a 20-yard punt that time, and Menomonie will take over on their own 16. 3:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Menomonie leads 19-0.
Quiet, please.
You've been calling for it, and now we've got it. Introducing Hardee's new pork chop sandwich, a whole boneless pork chop lightly breaded so it's tender and juicy. Come and get it at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
Menomonie takes their first play from scrimmage, and Dave Cruz is stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
I see that. I like to see that. They made a nice adjustment to the overshift and fine tackle. So that was a power play that they've gotten a lot of yards on all game long, and that one was adjusted to very well.
That's Bob Clark, who's the first guy to lay his hands on Mr. Cruz. Sets up a 2nd and 8 situation.
Central's going to need a lot of that now to get themselves back in the ball game. Another stop here, give another chance.
Mork pitches again to Cruz. And again, a nice play by the Brookfield Central defense.
Matt Bilo. He's 6'4", 225. Nice athlete.
Bilo is also the starting left guard for the Lancers.
Boy, that's a nice size kid. 6'4", 225. You know, he'd come off that block. He must have some colleges looking at him. He's a good athlete.
3rd and 8 from the 18. Play fake. And there goes down Mork. Bob Clark is there.
Use that big chest of his, that 450-pound bench to get off the block. Well, they got a little momentum change here now.
'79 Bob Clark with the sack.
They blocked 3 kicks during the year. Maybe they're going to come after Menomonie here.
Nate Johnson back to punt. Almost blocked right there. Seatbelt to the 45, so good field position for Brookfield Central.
And a nice job by that young man. He didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't try and make something out of nothing. He got back about 7 yards, and that was a good return.
42-yard kick by Johnson, and the Lancers will attempt to get things going. 19-0 they trail, 1:23 left in the third quarter. Now, we talked about Brookfield Central and how big their line is. They've been playing together since they were all in 5th grade. They're all seniors, and that's got to help.
Oh, I'll tell you what helps. They are on the same page. They understand, and I think, you know, if Rick has been using the same system, that really helps. Oh, you got that young lady. She got on the field. Number 46.
That's number 46, Anita Dua.
Yes.
She's the only girl on the team, and she gets some action in the state championship game. And she actually scored a touchdown earlier this year against Wauwatosa East.
That shows you a lot of class by Simon. To get her on the field, he's trying to get his kids on the playing field. I love that.
And the guys I talked to before the game say that they probably respect her more than any other player on the team.
Well,
she's taken the shots, earned her stripes, and you know, they treat her as one of the guys, and that's a compliment in her book.
Yeah, she's on that scout team. She holds a dummy, and they run right at it and knock her right down. She just shakes and gets up and gets right in there, and that's great to see that. 4 years. It's not just 1 year shot. 4 years she's been in the program.
Good for her. So the ball's just inside the 40-yard line. It will bring up a 3rd down and 4. They change footballs.
Well, this could be, right now, late in the game like this, it could be a 2-down situation. 2 downs to make this 5 yards.
Menomonie going for their 4th state title in the 90s. They were also here in 1994, but lost in the final. This is, in total, their 6th trip to the state championship game. Ziborowski hit at the line of scrimmage and knocked down. The big play from number 44, the Indians, Richie Andrashko.
Joe Labuda's done a great job. He came from Florida. He was down in Gainesville, Florida.
We'll talk about more of that when the 4th quarter begins. The end of the 3rd quarter. Menomonie leads Brookfield Central 19-0. More football after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
I'll be working till the sun goes down, and spend the time another dollar bound. Sun goes down.
There's no way to describe the kind of risk a small business owner takes, but there is a way to insure it. Rural Mutual. We understand what's at stake.
Gonna be here, don't matter how long, till the sun goes down.
Badger hockey is here with all the and catch the Badgers as they head to St. Cloud to take on the Huskies. Saturday night at 7, live on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Sunday at 9 on Going Deep. They thrive on the pressure. Hero one day, bum the next.
It's scary.
Go inside the crazy world of NFL kickers. Going Deep, Sunday at 9 on MSC.
After a scoreless 3rd quarter, we begin the 4th. 19-0, Menomonie leading Brookfield Central as you take a look at number 46 for Brookfield Central, Anita Dua.
They're going to be going into the same mode of turning it over to their defense here and trying to get some field position. But their kicking has not been real good here. Just another bad punt off. A flag
went
down.
Off the side of his foot, side of Wozniak's foot, but again, a flag is down.
The idea is good. You know, the coaching strategy is good here, but you got to be able to execute it. I'm sure what he's got in mind is to be able to kick the ball down there and make them take it with inside the 10. But you got to be able to execute it. I was talking before about our Labuda
against Menomonie.
That'd be huge. What now?
Yeah, holding a call against the Indians.
Labuda came in there and turned that program around with good, solid fundamentals. Didn't take very long, and he had some good athletes. He got them out, and that's what's key in any school, is getting your athletes out, being able to get interested in the program. Well,
he sure has done a fine job at Menomonie.
That's a costly penalty, and it could really mean something quite significant here. You need a break, and that's one of the essential breaks that they've been looking for, is to get that ball back. Now let's do something with it.
The Lancers take over at the 30.
Essentially, that's a turnover.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To Pariba as they continue to chip away.
Nice run. He was grabbed at the line of scrimmage, but he picked up about 4 on his own. I just got a feeling that maybe the defense for Menomonie's a little bit flat yet. They just don't seem to be quite as enthusiastic as they were early in the ballgame.
Siborowski, number 2, has 99 yards on the day, and he's over 100 now as he steps out of bounds about the 24-yard line.
Central's executing much better than they did the first half. Maybe the first half jitters are over, and all of the circumstance of being here is under their belt. Now they know they've got to play good football, and I'm real pleased with the fact that they've come out and really they've established themselves a little bit here. If they can get some scores, we'll have a game at the end of the game, the fourth quarter here as it winds down, and that's all you can ask for, is to have a chance to win late in the game.
Probably 2-down territory here on 3rd and 4. At the 24. Pariba stacked up.
Basic football, belly, good push up front, but Menomonie's they're standing in there. Any yard that Central's getting is tough.
Brett Cody was at the bottom of that pile. So now it's 4th and 3.
We haven't seen the waggle pass out of that wing, too, where they send that fullback out in the flat. We haven't seen that yet. I wonder if they're going to do good time for it for a little 4th and 3.
4th and 3 from the 23. First down, Brookfield Central. Greg Alisi with the first down.
Nice athletic ability there. Broke some tackles again. And
just his 3rd carry of the afternoon, but the biggest one at that.
They use Siborowski as a decoy on that. He's a blocker.
So the Lancers, 1st and 10 at the 18. The drive continues. To give Siborowski. He gets met by number 65, Tim Brantner.
Menomonie's coming off the blocks. At times, the blocking is excellent for Central, and at times they're just not picking people up. Now, a lot of that has to do, though, Andy, with the change of pace that Menomonie has of always lining up in a different gap and taking their angles in different areas.
Pass play knocked away, nicely done by number 4, Phil Newman.
He's one of their leaders back there. Newman's done a great job all year long. He's a good athlete. He returns punts and kicks, and that was a nice play.
So now Central faced with a 3rd down and 10 situation.
They'll have 2 downs to make this.
Matarese back to pass. Across the middle and hit early by Menomonie.
Pretty obvious call, wasn't it? The yellow hankies were flying. It looked like 4th of July. Well, that's going to make it interesting now.
So 2 penalties, really giving the Lancers first down.
Critical mistakes.
And just a little early on Marcel Gothing, who got hit from behind by George Shield.
Things have a way of working out. I mean, they weren't working very well for Central. Now they're starting to get some of the breaks that Menomonie is getting earlier in the game. And yeah, you know, you make your own breaks, but at the same time, you need to have the ball bounce right for you and have a penalty go, you know, in your direction here and there. And certainly that's happened this drive. Well, they've got to take advantage of it and get them some pay dirt.
First and goal from the 9. Inside handoff, Pariba inside the 5.
Nice blocking up front. Boy, Sturr, Davis, and Bilo got off the ball on that one.
2nd and 4. 4 yards away from pay dirt. 2nd and goal from the 4. Menomonie wants to keep that goose egg up on the scoreboard. And Pariba stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, that was 65. I don't have his number. We need to get that.
65 is Tim Brantner.
Nice job. Junior.
So again, 3rd and goal from the 4.
You got 2 cracks to get it in here. You gotta. I like the call there.
Siborowski down to the 2.
Now it comes down to, this is it for Central. They get this one in, they got a chance to really do something. If they don't, it's going to really hurt them momentum-wise. Time's running down. 8 minutes left, and a 4th and 2. Pretty good push. Again, coming in from the side there, we saw is Andrisko?
Looks
40?
like it, yep. 4th and goal from the 2. Pariba stopped short.
Just a foot short. Looked like he had some running room. He just got tripped up and not enough.
So Menomonie will take over on down. The shutout intact, the lead intact. They lead 19-0, 7.
An independent field test using scalding hot coffee and a specially designed cup holder dramatized the smooth ride quality of an Arctic Cat snowmobile. Oh my gosh, not a drop of coffee was spilled. There you have it, Arctic Cat. It's quite a ride.
Find Arctic Cat at AirTech Sports in Menomonie, where all we sell is fun.
As an entertainer, I'm a perfectionist. That goes double when I entertain for the holidays.
Introducing Arby's Winter Tulip Tumblers.
Everything has to be just right, down to the last detail.
With a 22-karat gold rim and a lovely winter scene.
For elegance, I spare no expense.
And they're just 99 cents each.
Okay, but that can be our little secret.
Entertain in style with Arby's new Winter Tulip Tumblers. Just 99 cents each with each soft drink purchase.
So Menomonie takes over on downs at their own 1-yard line after a beautiful goal line stand. And the Indians have to now work their way out of their own end zone. Inside give. Now,
doesn't look like they've got very far. That's more like on the 1-foot line now.
So Menomonie coming up big at the goal line defensively. Now, a week ago against the Schwabenon, they had to have a goal line stand to win the game. They were up 7. The Schwabenon was 1st and goal to go inside the 10. And 4 plays later, Menomonie was going to the state championship game. So,
and once again, they stopped him on about the 1-yard line, just like this drive.
So now it's 2nd and 10 from the 1. They'll just sneak it out to give them a little more breathing room. Now, just moments ago, Menomonie again with a goal line stand. Number 4, Phil Newman, putting the finishing touches on number 4, Matt Pariba.
1 foot short. Well, you can't give up hope. You know, things can happen pretty quick if you get breaks. Keep on wanting to be optimistic here. Central's going to have to make something happen with defense and try to spread it, and they're running that draw.
Cruz gains a couple more, but he will be short of the first down. So Menomonie will be forced to punt.
Let's go for a block. What do you think?
Just send them all. Send all the Lancers that way.
Send the farm. Put 11 people up there and go.
It's like an official's timeout. So there hasn't been a shutout in Division II since 1992 in the state championship game. That's when Monroe knocked off Kalkana 38-0. Menomonie would like nothing more than to leave Madison with a shutout and the gold trophy.
Well, with about less than 6 minutes, they've got a pretty good shot of taking that gold trophy home, unless some real phenomenal things take place here. They just let the clock run down and took a penalty, so they'll be they're going to play the run off the clock type of a ball game right now.
Nate Johnson is the punter for Menomonie. Chris Ryder, number 32, is the long snapper. Also snaps on the field goals and extra points.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to take a safety here. If you're really worried about shutouts, but wouldn't be a bad strategy to take a safety and kick the ball out of there. He's doing.
He's taking a safety. Now, why would you do that?
Well, you just have a feeling like if you get a block, it changes momentum. You're in control. You make the decision. You take the safety. Now he's going to punt from the 20. It'll give him no chance for a block. He'll punt the ball out. He should get field position somewhere in between the 50 and the 40. It's a good call, and nothing's hurt.
Still 3 scores away, correct?
Sure. I had a feeling that's what he was looking at.
Well, some might not agree with the tactics, but you can't argue with winning, right?
It's a good tactic. They blocked 3 kicks. I mean, he's seen things on the film. He said, hey, this team can do it.
So Menomonie leads 19-2. More after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
You are getting sleepy. Very sleepy. Sleepy. When you need tires, you will have a better experience. You will deal with good people. When I snap my fingers, you will open your eyes.
Mark your calendar for Oneida Bingo's Millennium 2000 Bash, the big car and cash bash you've waited a century for. Every regular game pays out $2,000 or more. 2 blackout games. Game 17 wins a year 2000 Buick Century plus $5,000 cash. Game 33 wins a year 2000 Park Avenue plus $10,000 cash. Tickets on sale now in the Oneida Bingo gift shop, $200 each. New Year's Day Bash at 3 p.m., plus Day for Night Owls at 9 p.m. Ring in the new millennium with cars and cash from Oneida Bingo.
So Brookfield Central gets on the scoreboard as Nate Johnson takes a safety for Menomonie, and Johnson will kick off from his own 20.
The object is to win the game, and it's a chess match. It's a good call. Look at the field position there, Decker.
Yeah, Siborowski jumps on the ball at the 34. Now, Ken, you talked about momentum, and it seemed as if the ball was rolling in Brookfield Central's court, and yet they took the safety, and you noticed something in the break.
Well, I said that I think it took the air out of their balloon. I mean, they're ready to block a punt, and they're charged up. It's our chance. And tactically, Labuda goes, we're not going to give him any chance. We're going to eliminate all chance of a big play. And he does this, and look at the field position. That was I think it was a brilliant call.
From the 34, 1st and 10, Brookfield Central. The handoff, Alisi Good gain on first down.
Central hasn't given up. You know, those kids have a lot of pride. They're out there blocking hard, and they're still running the ball. You know, you people will say, well, why not throw it? Well, sometimes your passing game isn't good enough to really have confidence to say we can get 3 scores just throwing the ball. So you got to be able to get off, and I think a mix is good at this point to be able to try and conserve the clock. But running the ball now, you know, every first down you stop the clock.
Greg Alessi, the carrier on that last play, 4 carries, 27 yards on the day. This is Siborowski. He has some running room across midfield. Nice gain by Siborowski. A gain of 13.
Well, they're just not giving. They're not giving up, and they're not giving Menomonie a chance to play any of their second-team kids. I mean, this is still a football game.
First and 10 Lancers at the 47. Movement on the ground, and we've seen this a couple times today, where they look like they're getting the ball moving, and then a penalty sets them back. Now they're in a hole, first and 15.
I've seen it all season long. we were kind of self-inflicting ourselves. And there's no understanding. You know, the kids, they want to do the right thing. They don't want to jump off. They're just nervous, and it's a tight situation. They opened up, though. That was a shotgun formation, and that's kind of like a gimmick for Central. They won some close ball games with that. They've had some good drives during the year.
Menomonie calls timeout. 19-2 the score, 4:43 left in the ball game. You're watching WIAA football on Midwest Sports Channel.
You've been calling for it, and now we've got it. Introducing Hardee's new pork chop sandwich. A whole boneless pork chop, lightly breaded so it's tender and juicy. Come and get it at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
Have a good day.
Badger Hockey on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
First and 15 for Brookfield Central. They trail by 17. Time running out on their season. Siborowski picks up close to the first down yardage as he's pushed back inside the 40-yard line.
Oh, he's just a gladiator, isn't he?
And he still won't go down.
Just a fighter. That whole Central crew. They're just going to battle right to the end. That's just wonderful.
His shoes come off on almost every play.
He puts them on like they're slippers, though. He doesn't tie them. He just slips them on.
Heard of tear-away jerseys? How about tear-away shoes?
There you go. Shotgun formation.
128 yards for Siborowski. Matarese back to pass. Has his man. Matucci with some running room. Down to the 25.
Here we go. You know, people are going to say, well, why didn't they start the game like that?
14-yard gain.
Little flare pass. They blitz their linebacker, open up the outside, and very opportunistic call. Did it at the right time.
Siborowski, shoes back on, and he'll pick up about 3.
I was saying about, you know, why didn't you start the game like that? Well, that's not their thing that they practice all the time. That's not what they're good at. And he's mixing. I like what's going on there. Mixing their run in with their pass and just trying to work the ball down, still being very patient. However, the clock's running out with 3:20 left.
Shotgun again. Matarese. Throwing to the end zone. Nice play there by number 3 for Menomonie.
Double coverage. Number 3 and number 4.
Mike Sins.
Phil Newman was there also.
looking for Pariba, who at one point looked open.
Yep.
Trying to squeeze it in there. Nice defensive play by Sins.
I think their secondary is well coached. They really run the football, and very seldom is there a receiver that's wide open.
So now it's 3rd and 7.
Part of the reason that they're moving the ball right now is that Menomoni's kind of not in a prevent, but they're laying back and looking for the trick plays and the screens and so forth. Backed off a little bit in the secondary.
Matarese throws, has his man. First down, Lancers. High percentage pass to Frank Vitucci.
Oh, it's a nice little pattern. He ran a little what you call a deep sideline, and throwing very well. It's a time pass. He's their guy. He's their go-to guy. He's caught a lot of balls this year. Coming in, I think he had 24 catches. And he must have had about 4 today or so. Look at the stats.
Ziborowski inside the 10. Shoe comes off again. You're right. There's our slip. Look at him slip it back on. Second and 7 from the 9. 2:59 remaining. Shotgun formation. Vitucci close to the 5-yard line.
That's a nice move, a freeze move. He put that little juke on the inside and froze the defender.
Vitucci's 3rd catch of the day.
It seems like he's had more than that. I guess he dropped a couple or had some thrown to him. He had a catch out of bounds, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He's got nice hands. Good athlete.
Down to 2:30 left in the ball game. 3rd and 3 from the 5. Ziborowski going wide into the end zone.
In there on a bounce. Looked like he bounced in.
They're going to call him down at the 1-foot line, and there is a flag on the play.
One called it in as a touchdown. The other one said it was, and then we had a penalty. I hope it's not a hold again.
I think that's what it looked like.
Wow. They've had some big plays called back. That was a fine run. He had nice blocking out front.
Shane Davis there, number 75.
Yeah, the hold was on Alisi. He had his right arm out there hooking, and you could see it pretty plain. It's a good call.
3rd and 12 now at the 14. Shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the right. Matarese throws the other way and overshoots his intended receiver.
One more shot for Central here.
Greg Strelo, the intended receiver.
I think the game might be out of reach, but let's have some pride and get one more in there.
To the 14-yard
line.
line.
See Menomonie back off a little bit and wait for they're going to have to throw the ball in the end zone, so they're going to, I would say, back off and wait for a pick.
Brookfield Central wants to talk about it. They take a timeout with 2:10 remaining. 19-2 is your score in the 4th quarter. Menomonie leading. So Menomonie, year in and year out, produces such great talent. You look at the Water Boys. I mean, you think that those guys aren't going to play football for Menomonie and think about this day years from now?
They built a tremendous weight room there. They've got things going pretty good. I was talking before about multi-sport athletes and the coaches. They do a nice job. One of the Jay Stanley is a basketball coach there, and I think that this defensive coordinator, Dave Decker, has done a nice job running that multiple 53 defense that they ran today. Gets his kids fired up. So things are on a roll, and who knows how long Joe Labuda will stay there. I'm sure he's you know, he can stay as long as he wants and finish his career there, but he may look for greener pastures.
Well, they're on a tear now. This would be 4 state titles in 8 years. It's 4th and 12. Siborowski's going to throw to the end zone. It's knocked down and knocked away. Again, Menomonie holds.
That was supposed to be a throwback pass to number 5, and he went deep instead, and number 5 was wide open. Well-designed play, but he didn't execute it.
Phil Newman comes up with the ball. They're going to call it an interception.
Quarterback eligible. Quarterback flips the ball and goes out to the backside. You won't see him on camera here, but he is wide open.
Good concentration by Newman to come down with that ball.
He's a fine athlete. Actually, a knockdown would have been more opportune. They'd give him better field position.
They're at the 2. Cruz just barrels ahead. We talked about some of the assistants at Menomonie, along with Jay Stanley and Dave Deckard, Mike Hewlett, Rick Gould, and Craig Amott doing a fine job for the Indians. And, you know, Brookfield Central has some fine assistant coaches as well. Dan Patrick, Mark Pokalnick, Steve Kratch, Scott Nelson, Chris Barger, Joe Wartzenloff, and Bruce Polo. The assistant coaches' names are as hard as the players.
It's an ethnic community.
What happened to Joe Smith? Oh, they have Bob Clark, don't they? This is Dave Cruz. Knocked down, hit hard by Matt Pariba.
Well, you know, Central has got to be just really very pleased with this season. They've brought the program along where they're at the pinnacle of state respect being here. And these kids cannot look at the last game and judge their season. This is only part of it. They've represented their area. They've represented so many other high school football teams that wish they were here, and they've got to really be proud of themselves that they made it this far.
They'll finish up 12-2 on the season, and they'll take home the silver trophy to Brookfield Central High School. Final moments ticking away as Josh Molnar has another carry.
You know, talking about that, you always try and tell your kids that it's not winning the championship, it's the process of getting there that is most important for education and for growth. And that's a good example. And I see what he's doing right here. He's going to put his second team out there so they have an opportunity to play. And I just love that. I think that's a really good educational philosophy by Brookfield Central.
Well, let me see if I can get some of these numbers and names in here. I see number 34, Casey Pinselnut. Actually, he played quite a bit today. Number 90, I see, Joe Thomas. Number 22, John Doble. Haven't called his name. Number 17, Guy Caribou. In addition to watching these WIAA championship games live on Midwest Sports Channel, you'll have the opportunity to catch them next week on Wisconsin Public Television. Check your local listings for the rebroadcast times of all 6 games on Thursday, November 25th and Friday, November 26th.
Well, congratulations to Rick Seinholt and his crew. They had a great season.
4th and 1.
We've got the troops out there from Menomonie too. They've got a lot of substitutes in the ball game.
Yeah, I think they're going to turn the ball over. So with 32 seconds, Brookfield Central will have the ball since they stopped them on down. So maybe they will get in to the end zone.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he have his first team out there? I guess he does.
Well, I see some familiar numbers, some unfamiliar numbers for Menomonie. Look at Dave Cruz. Look at those numbers. 30 rushes, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. A fine effort from the junior.
Most of it's first half.
That is exactly right. Most of it is first half. Cruz had 146 in the first half.
I thought Brookfield Central played 2 different football games. First half, it looked like they maybe had a little stage fright and were on their heels a little bit, and that experience from Menomonie came out and knocked them off the ball. Second half, tremendous pride. I think great coaching. It came out and got their kids up and ended up actually outscoring the Indians second half.
For our viewers watching this game live on Midwest Sports Channel, up next is NFL Players Fantasy Football Weekly. Then we will return to Camp Randall Stadium for the last game of this year's WIAA State Football Finals, a Division I matchup between Homestead and Marshfield. Ken, you've seen Marshfield. You know what they're about. They're a pretty tough club, aren't they?
Oh, we're looking for a great game. Homestead has a fine team and has the ability to beat Marshfield. Marshfield has a great defense, and it's going to be a whale of a game. A lot of athletes on the field, about 9 or 10 all-state players, or honorable mention all-state players, so it's going to be a great one.
Matteries throwing to the end zone. It is in and out of the hands of his receiver, Greg Alessi, excuse me.
Once again, pretty good coverage. Derek Evenson, he's right on the play.
And again, another flag down. Like a personal foul against the Lancers.
Yeah, I hate to see the game deteriorate at the end here now. Kids have had a lot of class all year long, and they make sure they keep their composure. It really hurts to lose, and you have your expectations are so high. But part of the reason they're here is to be able to win and lose with class, and these clubs certainly have a lot of that.
Looks like some scrapping going on, and down at the line of scrimmage, and tempers can flare a little bit.
Yeah, it's easy to, but you got to control yourself. There's so much to be proud of here, and kids have to remember that. And then their passing set looks like they made another shot in the end zone.
Matteries rolling right, has some daylight in front of him, but elects to pass into the end zone. Touchdown, Brookfield Central. Frank Fatucci on the reception, and the Lancers get into the end zone.
Well, that's okay. A lot of respect at the end of the year, end of the season here, and they ended it with a positive.
And a flag is down in the end zone.
Could be a celebration penalty. Kind of spike the ball. Or... Let's see here.
Oh, I think it might be a dead ball foul. Unsportsmanlike conduct. I think what happened was Bertucci got a little nudge after catching the ball in the end zone, and I think he tossed the ball in the direction of the nudger.
You have to, in high school football, the officials are really sensitive about that. And it's one of the rules. You can't taunt, you can't do any kind of celebration. You give the ball to the official, and you act like a young man that's been there and done it before.
So the two-point conversion attempt is from the 18-yard line. Matteries gets hit hard from behind. Sean Scheffler.
That's the way to come in the state championship game and get a sack, isn't it?
Scheffler hasn't seen a whole lot of action, but makes it count when he does. A big sack.
I thought the officials have done an outstanding job today. Very professional game, nice crew, and hats off to them.
And hats off to both of these fine clubs. Menomonie will leave Madison with the gold trophy. They won it in '93, they won it in '95, '97, now '99. Now, I guess we should look for them the year 2001.
Well, they've got some kids returning. You know, they're returning a lot of skilled players, and the program is it's all in place. So unless Labuda leaves, you're going to hear from Menomonie from the north in the future again.
And for Brookfield Central, Rick Seinhold has built a fine program, built up their feeder program, their youth program, the Junior Lancers. They run the same system there as they do at the high school. As the onside kick attempt, nicely done, gets the bounce they need, but Menomonie holds on.
And congratulations to Coach Labuda, and the fine job he did. Probably one of his finer coaching years. Not a real big team, a lot of average high school football players, and like he was saying, overachievers. Well, I think they've achieved about all you can achieve right now. A great run in the playoff series, and that's when it counts.
Ricky Maggard comes up with the football. And Menomonie will take over with just 15 ticks left. Don't forget Division I coming up after a short break. Your other champions this year in Division 6 was Owen Withy. That was yesterday. They won 54-6 over Mineral Point. Division 5 was Edgar defeating Iola Scandinavian. Division 4, Cadott beat Lancaster yesterday, 34-21. And last night in Division 3, Waunakee defeated Black River Falls, 37-14. But in Division 2, it's Menomonie. The Indians take the Division 2 championship. They defeat Brookfield Central 19-8.
That's a happy crew. Unless you've been in sports, you don't realize how much it hurts for Brookfield's side. And like I said again.
So Menomonie, your champion in Division 2. We'll be back to wrap things up after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
The coach's cliche. They range from motivational to inspirational to downright confusing. But no matter what the sport, what season, or what the outcome, these athletes show us what it means to be champions. At the Rural Insurance Companies, we're proud to sponsor the WIAA Sportsmanship Awards. After all, it's the one honor that embodies the granddaddy of all locker room truisms.
Girls at 3 o'clock.
What is he looking at?
Oh, it's so obvious. Captain Obvious has scored again. Open your window. Say something.
Oh, he's really gonna down.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Visit Menards and Janet Forest and light up your holiday season. Decorate your home with illuminated figures at great sale prices. Choose from a 40-inch snowman or Santa on sale $24.99. A 2-piece nativity set is $34.99. 2 packs of Sylvania soft white 3-way light bulbs are free after $2 rebate. Save energy with compact fluorescent bulbs on sale just $2.88 after rebate. Menards is full of bright ideas for your home.
Save big money at Menards.
The Golden Eagles open their regular season against the Iowa Hawkeyes live from the Milwaukee Arena tonight at 7 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Andy Kendi along with Ken Beagle at Camp Randall Stadium, and we have just watched Menomonie defeat Brookfield Central 19-8 for the Division II state championship. You know, Ken, Brookfield Central had a heck of a second half, but they just didn't have enough to overcome Menomonie's quick start. Menomonie scoring all 19 points in the first half.
My comment exactly. Poor start for Brookfield, great finish really, and that has a lot to do with the coaches and the pride of those kids. I'd say it again, I know they're hurting right now, but look back at all the rest of the good times that they had during the season. On the other hand, Menomonie, they made the plays. Their passing game, even though it wasn't outstanding, was outstanding today. I thought they had a good scheme of getting their receivers open. Their offensive line and defensive lines were pretty effective, and I think the execution and the 2 platooning and all of the depth of their program really showed here today.
Menomonie held to just 30 yards of total offense in the second half, but it's enough. The Menomonie Indians win the gold trophy 19-8 over Brookfield Central. Don't forget the Division I game coming up after a few moments. After a little while, today's game directed by Alan Pierce, produced by Deb Piper and Kevin Smith. We'll see you in about a half hour for the Division I final. This is WIAA football on MSC.
The WIAA High School Football Championships. Brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. By World Insurance Companies, providing a full line of insurance products for Wisconsin's families and businesses. By Milk, from the dairy farm families of Wisconsin. Remember to grab a tall, cold glass of milk at every meal. Got milk? And by M&I Bank, where you're just a click away from free online banking and a free MyWeb homepage. Check us out at miweb.com.
Terry Bradshaw here. Hey, you know, we've all heard that chicks love the long ball. Well, phooey! Ha! If you really want to score, NFL Players Fantasy Football is the place to be.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to NFL Players Fantasy Football. Let's take a little bit of closer look in the NFL, could we? Last week's winners included Cleveland and Philadelphia. Jason Garrett whipped Brett Favre, and the 8-1 Jacksonville Jaguars, a dominant team, wouldn't you say? Scored six against Baltimore. Is this good? Is this interesting? Is it fun? And how does it affect fantasy football? All that and more to be answered by James Lofton and Bob Golick. We're glad you're here. Now on to the news, and it's not exactly current events, because a lot of high-profile players have gotten hurt throughout the year, and it has created opportunity, which a lot of great athletes, all they want is a chance, right? We've heard that so many times. All I need is a chance. Well, there's several Billy Joes in New Orleans, at least two that I can think of. They've gotten their chances, and Billy Joe Tolliver taking advantage. Olandis Gary in Denver, that's a good offensive line. Wheatley, finally, maybe the player everyone thought he was going to be. Marcus Robinson, Chicago, I'd never heard of him until 5 weeks ago. Now he looks great. And Jermaine Crowell, just plain old taking advantage of an opportunity.